Why, what's up guys, it's Alonzo here, and I wanted to make a review video after coming home, watching the movie at the cinemas, Seeking a Friend to the End of the World. I really wanted to make this video because there were so many thoughts in my head after watching it, and really pleasantly surprised at this movie. I know the ratings are kind of iffy, meh, 50% of the people like it, 50% of the people don't. But I really wanted to put my 2 cents into this conversation because even though most people would say, yeah, the marketing in this thing first I wanted to start off is that they kind of wanted to sell this as a rom-com, like a comedy with romance parts to it with a little weird twist at the end, or pretty much the premise of the thing is that it's gonna be the end of the world, and then some sort of happenstance put these two characters together. One, I'm assuming like 50-year-old guy and this almost 30-year-old chick, put them together in this situation and they fall in love, and then it's supposed to be happily ever after, or at least until the world gets destroyed by the meteor. But I'm a bit confused when I was watching this. And it's not about the believability of these characters, mind you, because the director, Lauren Scraffer, is it's her first debut as a directorial and screenwriter at the same time. So she wrote and directed this movie with the characters Steve Carell and Keira Knightley, beautiful Keira Knightley, and her awesome accent. But she totally wrote these characters perfectly. Like the dialogue between the two and all those were spot on. I totally believe that they weren't like. Sometimes when you watch a movie, you find that all the characters kind of seem like they're the same person. It's like a monologue between two people that just look different. You know what I mean? Like take Gilmore Girls back then. I've always thought that. Yes, the writing was really quick and quick and intelligent, but it always seemed like the mother and daughter would be talking to themselves. You know what I mean? Like the dialogue was so snappy that it was just not believable, as like everybody around would be so quick, unless you know you're dealing with people from LA where they're always on top of things. This is the same problem as when I see Entourage. Yes, that's the show. Like everybody on that show doesn't really seem like their own person. It's more or less kind of like a monologue, except for Johnny Drama. That guy's written completely different, I guess. But I'm getting off topic, aren't I? Yes, I am. Okay, so it's a beautiful movie, I'd have to say. Like the shots and everything make you believe that this is a movie not about like the comedy parts of it, and not about the romance, but it's about two people going on a journey, on a road trip, and I guess they fall in love and then the world comes to an end. It's kind of sad in that sense, but I don't know how I feel about this movie. I've seen a lot of the reviews, like when you go onto Rotten Tomatoes, they say major complaints about this movie is that it ends sadly. But then when you think about the premise, it's a meteor crashing to Earth and guarantee that it's going to kill probably most of us. Why would anybody going into this movie expect anything less of that? Why would they expect anything less of, say, in the end everybody dies? I'm a bit confused by those reviews. But then at the same time, I've also read other reviews saying that yes, those characters are not really believable, or in that the things that happen to them don't necessarily make sense for them to fall in love. And in that way, I do agree. Because Steve Carell, great acting on his part, but he's still playing that 40-year-old virgin character that he's always been doing for the past I don't know how long. You know, the same socially awkward, and kind of dead on the outside, not dead inside. In the end, they always reveal that he does have a heart. He's not the freaking Tin Man. But Keira Knightley is this vivacious, lively chick that, you know, loves vinyl records and loves life and whatnot, and is constantly jumping from relationship to relationship trying to find the ultimate, the perfect guy. And it just so happens that by the end of the world, she sees this perfect guy in Steve Carell. Wow. Wow, yeah. Totally believable, right? Although, yes, it is completely... When you think about that, when you, like, lay it down without the glory of, like, watching the actual movie and being invested in the characters like I was, when I sat down afterwards, thinking about the actual movie, I was kind of a little ticked off. You know? Could have been a little bit more... Even though, like, it's the end of the world, of course there's rioting and people whatnot, but nothing really bad ever happens in the movie. There's not a lot of tension in that sense. It's just kind of like a... If you imagine, like, when you see, like, a heartbeat on a heartbeat monitor, it's kind of... The ups and downs don't actually feel very up and downy, if you understand. Like, it's kind of like a meh! You're just constantly... I'm always waiting for something to happen, even before then. You would imagine, like, when an asteroid hits, usually, like, it's supposed to be, like, 7 kilometers. I would assume that there's little parts that fall off and start hailing down right before the big one hits, right? So I would assume that, like, weeks before, you would have, like, slow tension parts where they would have to at least acknowledge that there's constant danger around, but no. Even towards right before the last parts of the movie, they were, you know, on a beach and just celebrating with everybody else, having barbecues. There was, and it was only until the last parts when actually the power was cut and they were just lighting candles. Yeah, that's the only thing that happened. You know, oh, the power was cut. That's horrible. No, power was cut and they lit candles and they just laid in bed admiring at each other. And that was pretty much the last scene of the movie. To comment about that one, this is not a spoiler, the world ends, right? So the last scene is of Keira Knightley's face just slowly... It turns bright apparently because when the meteor comes, apparently it's bright. It doesn't make sense, but anywho. So that's the last scene. We white out with Keira Knightley's face just on the pillow because she's face to face with Steve Carell. I thought that was actually quite funny. Because when you think back, it could easily have been like, that's the actual last scene that Steve Carell looks at. Great. You know, that's the last vision in his head before he, you know, says quietly to the Dark Knight. But that's the exact opposite of what Keira Knightley's going to look at when the world ends. And I don't know if I want to be staring down the face of Steve Carell, but that's neither here nor there. But I really wanted to make this review of this movie because I just came back from this and feeling really, really complexed about whether I should recommend this to people. And I would. If this ever came out on, like, DVD or Blu-ray and you guys, like, had, you know, 2 hours to spare, I would say watch this movie. It's not like a 500 Days of Summer where I would say go watch it because it's gonna make you feel something, but this will make you feel something. Either it would make you feel like you just wasted your 2 hours, or you actually feel like it did something, but it will make you think about relationships differently. And you know, it's more like, what would you do if you only had 3 weeks left in your life? It really made me assess, like, where I'm at right now. So yeah, wow, it's already been 10 minutes. Okay guys, it's been Alonzo, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.